Hi guys, welcome back to my K-pop vocal ranking series. Next we're looking at the vocal kings of K-pop, EXO. EXO are regarded as an extremely strong vocal group. The majority of their members can sing and have showcased really good vocals several times. So ordering them is going to be a little bit tricky, but that's kind of what makes making these videos fun. Also, a quick note, I'm going to be looking at a full 9-member EXO, as I'm going to be ignoring the military people like Dio and Chumin who are in the military. I'm going to be ignoring that. And also the fact that Lay hasn't really done a lot with the group since 2016. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't officially left. I could be wrong there, but he's being included in this particular video. So without further ado, 9-man EXO vocal ranking. Okay, so Sehun is pretty much the only member of EXO that doesn't really sing ever and hasn't really showcased many live vocals, but let's see what we can find. So as you can see, Sehun tends to stay in his lower comfortable chest range. He more sings in like a rappy style. He can convey a little bit of tune and a little bit of melody here and there, but he doesn't really have the confidence, the practice or the training to really do any sort of elevated vocals in any sort of particular difficult vocal part. So he doesn't really push his chest voice or use much head voice or much mixed voice. He just generally stays in this low rap speaking singing style. But that's fine because he has 8 other people in this group that can sing extremely well, so he doesn't really need to. But he is the worst singer in this group. So already there's a massive jump in quality. Kai gets quite a lot of singing lines. He doesn't have the strongest voice in the world, but he can absolutely hold his own and he's a decent singer. Let's have a look. So Kai is a baritone with quite a sweet light voice. He has a really pleasant sound to it and quite a distinct tone. He can sing in a comfortable lower chest range and he has a good ability in the lower middle parts of EXO's songs. The only thing that kind of holds him back is his technique. A lot of the time he places his voice a lot further back than most of the members, so it results in this hootier sound, which makes it kind of difficult to have too many colours or too much range on top of everything. So while he has a decent voice, and he can do a few things with it, and he has a lot of vocal parts in EXO, the hootier range and the hootier tone that he uses stops him really showcasing too much. But he's a credible dancer and a good rapper, so he's not only there for that, and that is why he's the weakest actual singer in EXO, but his voice is decent, it's pleasant, and you know, it could be a lot worse. So yeah, he's a decent vocalist. Okay, so the order for 6 and 7 is kind of up for debate. There is an argument that can be made for both of them being lower and higher, but I personally think of the two that are going to be in these positions, Lay has the slightly weaker technique. Good singer, but let's have a look. So Lay has a pretty high tenor voice, and he has really strong capabilities to do some really high notes, both in a chest voice, a mixed voice, and a head voice. So he's capable of singing some pretty difficult vocal parts. The only thing is, his technique is a little bit risky. He tends to sing with a little bit too much weight and too much power sometimes, and he doesn't really use enough lightening of the vocal cords and thinning of the vocal cords, which makes a lot of the time his singing sound a bit squeezed and a little bit strained. So while he has the capability to do these really high notes that some of the members may struggle with a little bit, his technique does let him down somewhat, and it can result in a squeezed sound or a bit of a risky time singing. So yeah, as I say, good singer, good power, good range, but a little bit of a risky technique. Okay, so some would place it way higher, but I think that Chanyeol has a slightly more unique and technically sound instrument. He's also a good lower tone to counteract the tenor powerhouses in this group.
You flew like a fatal in a beautiful world.
Chanyeol is a baritone with a slightly darker tone than Kai, so automatically his voice has a unique quality to it. So he's the main rapper, so he doesn't really get too many singing parts all the time, but when he does sing, it adds a really unique take on the EXO music, because he has a voice that very few others in the group can replicate. It's a darker sound, it's rich, it's more chest dominant, and it's heavier, therefore it results in these lower frequencies that most of the guys in EXO just don't really sing in, so automatically he has a more unique instrument than some of the other guys, and it's a nice little add-on to the rest of the music. He also sounds quite nicely singing higher as well, and it's slightly more lighter, higher baritone. So yeah, overall a really good singer, technically sound, always sounds strong, healthy, good and supported, and he has a unique tone that most of the guys, as I say, can't replicate. So yeah, really good singer. Okay, so this guy is an extremely underrated vocalist, and in another group could easily be a main vocalist. However, in EXO he is just a lead, however he fills a really, really good role. Okay, so Tsumin seems to have a really, really, really interesting voice. It does everything pretty well, nothing exceptionally, but it has an incredibly well-rounded instrument. If we need a softer harmony with his lighter, sweeter vocals, great. If we need a powerful belting transition line, great. If we need a high falsetto line, I believe the highest in the group, great. As I say, he's got a very, very, very well-rounded voice, and another group could easily be a main vocalist. But in EXO, he just fills the role where he can do every little part that is required. He just lacks the power vocals of the guys above him. But all round, he's a really good singer, could do some really good things, and fills several different roles for the EXO songs. So yeah, Tsumin, incredibly underrated vocalist, can do a lot of things, just happens to be in a group full of absolutely amazing singers. So kind of falls into the background a little bit. But he's really good, have no doubt. So here is EXO's leader and second lead vocalist. Again, if he wasn't in a group with the legendary vocal line of EXO, he would be a main vocalist somewhere else. But he isn't, and he's a really good singer. Let's have a look at what he can do. Suho has a purpose-built tenor voice. He tends to stay in this more forward-placed sound a lot of the time, however he's got a really beautiful vocal colour, he has a really emotional delivery which makes his voice incredibly easy to identify. He tends to stay in his upper mix most of the time, like most of the lines that he sings in the songs are in this high mixed place, and he can belt really well, really consistently, and he has a very powerful voice. He doesn't always utilise that power, he can sometimes stay more emotional and kind of softer, but he always stays connected, always stays big, has a powerful tone. Not quite as powerful or as connected or as mixy as the guys above him, however, the voice that he does have, as I say, is incredibly beautiful because it has a lovely, unique vocal colour, and he can sing ballads really well, he can do transitional lines really well, and he opens a lot of the songs too. So yeah, Suho basically has a unique instrument which has a nice colour. It's not as varied as some of the other guys, but his actual colour that he does have is very emotional, very nice, very sweet. On top of that, he has good power vocals too. So yeah, somewhere else he will be a main vocalist, absolutely. Just the three guys coming up are kind of good. Okay, so we have arrived at EXO's vocal line, their three main vocalists, who are their main vocalists for a very good reason. Now, again, like V from last episode, Dio has my personal favourite voice with his soul voice and his R&B delivery, but he does have, in my opinion, the least versatile voice of the main three singers. Not by much, it's quite easy to order these three however you want, really, but this is kind of my take on it.
You're walking into my door. Este amor, nuestras almas se acercan a 간절한 수많은 꿈들이 EXO, EXO, L.O.V. EXO 목소리 이렇게 나한테 쏟는 밤을 거슬러 가 Monster
Okay, so Dio has the best vocal tone ever. He has a more of an R&B and soul leaning voice, and he tends to stay quite full, quite connected, up until around the A4 or B flat 4, comfortably the G4 sort of range. His voice is sensational, it's a tenor voice, and it has the most agility in EXO by far. He is capable of really complicated melisma, really interesting vocal runs, and as I said, the tone that he possesses is like, if you could hand pick a singer's vocal tone, it will be this. It's light but has a depth, it has power, it has range, and it has agility, and it's really versatile. He can sometimes sing a bit softer and sweeter and make it really calm and emotional, or he can sing heavier with more power and more of a belty quality to it with more chest dominant style. He's capable of doing both depending on what he's trying to convey. As I say, he can be emotional or he can be just really bloody R&B and really, really, really good. The only thing that lets his voice down is he has little to no ability in the 5th octave. Like, he can get there with a falsetto, but he generally stays in that mixed place in the 4th octave in the middle, whereas the two guys above him could do 5th octave really, really, really well. Which is why I think that technically and tonally, Dio is among my favourites, and he has one of the best voices just in K-pop generally. But the only thing letting him down is kind of his range and I suppose his versatility. But don't let that fool you, his voice is unbelievable and he can do some incredible things with it, and if somebody put him first, I wouldn't be angry. Once again, an argument could easily be made to put Baekhyun first. He is the main vocalist in Super M for a reason, as well as a main vocalist in EXO. He has a really powerful tenor voice, and it's really, really strong, and it is very good in the 5th octave also. So yeah, let's watch him.
아침보다 더 눈부신 날 향한 너의 사랑이 사랑이 널 지킬 테니 for me.
If I was doing this a few months ago, I would have put Baekhyun third. However, his range, his mix, his colours, his versatility, and his technique, to me, have put him second. He has a very, very, very reliable, versatile voice. It's very, very powerful, and he tends to stay in this more chest-dominant place. He can sometimes sound baritonal based on how heavy and how early he starts mixing in his chest voice. But that leads to a really thick, heavy, powerful sound that other guys in EXO just don't have access to. He sings a lot of lines. He has a lot of lines. That's because his voice is so good in so many different areas and it has so many colours and avenues to it. As I say, he has this kind of really powerful mix that he utilises, particularly when he's singing solo or duo ballads. It can sound a little bit strained, but to me that kind of adds an individuality to it. And this power and this rasp and this natural ability to get up there is really impressive. Along with that, he also has a good, strong head voice or like upper mix voice that can get up to around an F5 into. It can go higher, but F5 is a really strong note for him. And again, Dio doesn't have that particular avenue to his voice, hence why I think Baekhyun is a little bit better and more well-rounded. He's more of a classic pop singer as opposed to Dio's R&B style. However, that doesn't take away from anything. His voice is really powerful, it's got a lot of colours, it's versatile, it's got an amazing range, it's got really good technique, and it's second to all except from...
Sorry, you make me so crazy. You know you do.
This guy is EXO's vocal king. He has one of the best tenor powerhouse voices in K-pop with some of the best technique too. Let's just watch him.
끝나면 그만인 줄 알았던 내가 넌 나를 찾지 마. 자신감이 않아 왜 꿈이 아닌 건지 나도 믿기지 않아 너 사람인 게 맞니 시간아 조금만 더 달려줄래 Promise on Sunday morning and I never want 사랑했었기 때문에 너의 자리를 비워둔 것이라면 그 자린 저 눈 떴어
So Chen has Baekhyun's voice if Baekhyun had like another gear to go into. His voice is stupidly unbelievable. Okay, so Chen has range. He can actually sing the lowest notes in EXO, even lower than people like Kai and Chanyeol. He doesn't really use them much in songs, but there's been many clips where he's gone down to like G2 sort of area, G2 F2, and it sounds big, it sounds rich. As well as that, he can also mix well into the 5th octave with impeccable technique and has the second best use of head voice behind Baekhyun. The other thing that makes his voice so bloody good is his technique is impeccable. It's unbelievable. He can sing the same song, like he can start in a lower 3rd octave place and then start mixing or belting up to around the G4, A4 sort of area, all of which has the smoothest transition ever, and you can all tell it's exactly the same voice. It's all so well connected all the way through. It has his very unique stance and his very unique tone, as well as having the individuality and the amazing delivery and the power and the range and all the colours attached to that as well. His voice is just so big and so powerful, whether he's in like kind of light feminine mode where he can kind of sing a bit more girly or sing these kind of lighter passages, or in like mega high I'm a class tenor powerhouse belter mode. Both of them are unique, both of them are powerful, both of them have amazing range, both of them are technically proficient and professionally amazing. And honestly, his voice is to absolutely die for. I'm so jealous of the things that he can do. His voice just sounds so big all the times, and it sounds so reliable, and his mix up to the fifth octave also is really unique and really amazing. So yeah, Chen has one of the best voices in K-pop just generally. There's an argument that can be made for a few other people, but to me, Chen is the boyo. He has the best voice in K-pop, and we should respect that. Okay, thank you very much for watching this episode. That was quite fun to make. EXO are really, really talented singers, all of them. So yeah, next time we'll be looking at Stray Kids, I think. So see you then.